Good morning, everybody. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me this morning. My name is Natalie Clark, and I am the marketing manager for Distributor Central, but I also help out with our support team and do a lot of our website design. So today I'm going to give you an overview on what to do when you get a notification that you got an order from your website. We've recently gotten quite a few new users, and they'll get a notification and they'll be like, I got an order on my website. What do I do? Did it go to the supplier? I don't see payment, and I have payment set up. And so we just kind of wanted to do a quick webinar to do an overview of how you find the order, if you have payment set up, how you collect the payments, if you're going to use our system for your complete order management, how to push the order on to the supplier, as well as dealing with the artwork for the order. Also, I've included a handout in the handouts section that has my personal contact information as well as our support contact information. So you can download that and have that always available if you need to. Okay, so first, okay, so I got a notification, in my email that I have an order. And so now I'm trying to figure out, okay, this order came from my website. Now what do I need to do with it? It's going to tell you who your customer was, what the item was. It'll have if they included artwork, it's going to be here. You can click on that and it would download it. And then you'll even see your shipping information and all the information that the supplier had put in there. It's going to populate. So you'll want to find this order. You're going to want to go into your Distributor Central account. Once you get logged in, over here on the orders, click on that. It shows that I have 2 new orders. And select this. So now it's going to pull up my new order history. So I'm going to pull up this order. Whenever I pull up the order, this top part is my customer's order. This is going to show all of the retail information of what my customer's seen whenever they placed the order. It's going to show me right here if there was artwork that they give me. If I click on that, I can view their artwork. I can download their artwork from here to make sure it's correct. That's what happens if you view it. Okay, and so then say if some reason this artwork is not the right format and you have an art department and you guys make some changes to it, you can always come back here to the order and go into the artwork section, and you can add the new artwork and delete it. That way the correct artwork will be always reside with this order. Go back to the customer order. You can hit view details, and it's gonna give you the same information that it gave you in the email notification. The best thing to do is to just kind of review it, make sure that there's not any charges that may be missing from the product data. For example, this here didn't have any freight. So if you scroll down here, it has purchase order to supplier, and it tells me that the supplier is Snugs. So in this case, I would probably want to call Snugs and get a freight quote on this. That way, then I can go back to my customer and tell them, a freight estimate. If I wanted to go ahead and add that in there, you can click the edit button. And so say I actually called Snugs and got a freight estimate. You can go down here to the shipping information. You can add it in here. Say it was $107.54. I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna hit save changes. And so now it's got the freight in there. So I've verified that all of this information is correct in here. I have payments set up. I've got a PayPal account connected in my Distributor Central account. So they were able to provide me their payment using PayPal. So this is your invoice to customer. Once I know that all this information is correct, I'm going to hit create customer invoice. At this point, I have so automatically by default, the preference is set to not collect the payment automatically when somebody places an order on your website. If you wanted it to automatically collect, there is in your preferences under account preferences and then account preferences. And then you go to orders. Or wait, no, sorry, payments. Here is where you can have it do no authorization. You can have it do authorization only, where it will just make sure that the information, the credit card is valid and working, but it won't actually pull anything. And then you can, or you could have it go ahead and authorize and capture. I would recommend that you probably do authorization only, just because in this instance, this order didn't generate the freight charge. If I would have already authorized and captured that, then I would have had to go back to my customer and get that information again, you know, have them pay me one more time. It's a lot easier if you just make sure everything's correct and verify with them before you actually pull any payments at all from them. So I'm gonna go back to the order. So now I've created the invoice and I'm ready to collect payment from my customer. You're gonna go here to record payment / credit. And then say you have terms with this customer and you're only collecting half payment, you can always change this amount and only collect however much you want at the beginning, and then you can always come back and you would do the same process to collect the remainder of their bill if you have terms to where they pay half up front and then half on delivery, or however that works, or you can just do the whole thing. So you're going to go here to transaction type, and since they put their credit card information in when they ordered, even though this says credit card, the way the system works to pull in automatically that information, you're going to go here to use previous credit card, and it's going to populate the person and show you the last digits in that. So then you're going to select that. If your merchant account requires a CVV, there is within those same preferences that we were at where you can tell it to require the customer to put the CVV in. I don't have it set up because my PayPal doesn't require that. So now I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to hit submit payment. So this is going, once I hit submit payment, actually I used a phony credit card, so this will not do anything. So it's going to error because I used a phony credit card. But once you hit submit payment, it's going to tell you, it's going to come up with like a success. And then once you go back, return to the order summary, this is going to show 0 because it was paid. So now say, actually, does anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to check the questions. If anybody has questions, you can type them in the questions area. Okay, so I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna continue on. So now if I'm ready to send this order to the supplier, you're gonna go down here to purchase order to supplier, and you hit create supplier purchase order. And most of the time, the suppliers don't actually have whatever payment terms they require. They don't have it set up in here, so it really doesn't matter what you select in here. The only time it's gonna give you the option to put your credit card automatically is if the supplier is using our system for order management. So you can just hit bill to account there. Any special comments that you want to send to the supplier, put that there, and then you're going to hit create PO. And so then it's going to populate all the information here. So you can view details to verify, just to double check and verify that everything's good. My artwork is there. Make sure my shipping address is correct. And so then I'm going to go back to the order summary once I know that that's correct. And now I can hit send, and it's gonna email my order to the order email that Snugs has in our system. If you happen to have a individual sales rep for a supplier that you're placing an order to, you can always change this to that person's email and it'll go to them. As far as the order format, you can have it just be in HTML, you can have it attached as a PDF, or you could do it as HTML and PDF. I always do HTML and PDF just so then no matter how the supplier would like to have it, they have it that way. You can also add additional comments to the person you're emailing the order to. You can send a copy of it to yourself if you want. And then you hit send order, and it's gonna automatically send your order and your artwork to the supplier. And so once you send that, this will change and it'll say purchase order sent. Obviously, I don't want this order to actually go to Snugs, so I'm not going to do that part. This invoice from supplier, this is only going to be valid if it's a supplier that's using our system for the order management and actually updating the status of your order and billing from our system. So like if you do business with TradeNet, you've probably actually already kind of know how this works. Okay, that really covers all that I was going to kind of go over, just to let everybody know how to find the orders, and then, you know, just the anatomy of how our order process looks. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, this video is being recorded, and you will get the recording sent to you automatically an hour after this ends. So it says sales tax. Do they self-declare if they are tax exempt? Okay, so if you have a customer that's tax exempt, you actually would go into their customer account in here, and you can tell it to charge tax or to not charge tax. I'll show you that real quick. So I'm going to click here on the customer. Once you pull up the customer's information, if you go to terms, is customer taxable? You can hit yes or no, and then hit save. And then also, if you want to customize your tax settings, if you go to account preferences, I believe it's account preferences. Let's see. Here you can set within your account preferences and then orders. You can set if you charge tax on shipping. There's a lot of different preferences that you really want to go through within your account preferences. The account preferences are going to set up your overall preferences for any websites, any orders. There's a lot of ways that you can really customize, further customize your Distributor Central account, how everything is handled. So here is the tax rate. This is do you collect at destination rate or fixed rate? So the system is automatically going to configure the tax based on the shipping, where it's shipping to, but you can always modify that here, and it kind of gives you an explanation of how to do that. Another good place is to go through the website preferences too. You would actually, whatever website, oh, I don't know what I did there. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So whenever you go into the account preferences, website preferences, you would just click next to whatever website you're wanting to dig into those preferences. And there's several options, the same as how the account preferences were, just to kind of further customize everything. Okay, let's see what else. It says what pricing does it pull for PO? It's going to automatically pull what the supplier sets for the retail based on the margins that they put in. And then on the actual supplier PO, it's pulling from the net costs. There's a question, if we use Profit Maker software, is your system in addition, or would we need to change over to the DC system for order management, billing, etc.? Is there a charge? So however you handle the actual order management of your orders from your website, that is completely up to you. You don't have to actually use our system to send the order to the supplier. You don't have to collect your payment there if you don't want to. If you have something offsite, you can always just call the customer and get the payment information from that. Or if you just want to use Distributor Central to collect the payment information, but then you don't actually use it for the order management, then you can always just you would have to rekey the information into your software, outside software. There's no charge for the things that I am showing you today. So there's a question, is there a way to not have a factory show up in the search? You do have the option to exclude suppliers from their products showing up on your website. And you do that by creating a preferred supplier catalog. If you go to our academy at help.distributorcentral.com and you type in preferred supplier. There's one that's select suppliers to exclude on your website, and that'll give you the instructions on how you can tell your website to not show their products. As far as inside Distributor Central, when you're searching, we do have a new save search function that that would, let's see. You can pick, you can actually pick the suppliers that you want to show search results from. And we also have information on that here as well. If you go to save searches, save search, and it'll show you all of our help documentations on how to use our save search feature. Doesn't look like we have any questions. So once again, I want to thank y'all for joining me this morning. And if you have any questions or questions come up later, my personal email is in that handout that you can download in the handout section, or you can always contact our support team. That information is also on that handout. And I hope y'all have a great day.